Fiva, and we are on another episode of True Colors with the wonderful, talented Hamza. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I know we just met like last week, but
like 4 days ago or something like that.
Not even a week ago.
Yeah, for real.
So I'm really excited to get to know you more in this interview.
Shout out to the mixer.
Yes, that's how we met. So we're still at the top of the year. Did you make any New Year's resolutions or vision boards?
Oh yeah. I made a giant list of manifestations that I want to achieve. Just, streaming goals, money goals, dating goals, stuff like that, I don't like to go too much into specifics though, because, those are for me. But.
Okay. So could you tell us a little bit about your process, like when it comes to manifestations? Because I know a lot of people do it differently.
First of all, I try to meditate every day. Twice a day if I can get to it, 20 minutes each session. That's big because that just lets you, be in the moment, get out of your head, just focus on what is, because if you're focused on what is, you're not too worried about what's going to happen or what might have happened or what will happen. And that just helps you actually attract what you need in the moment. Because if you're trying to specifically be like, oh, I need to make this certain connection on this day, it might not happen that way because you might be thinking too small. So if you just live in the moment and let things happen, that's how things start coming to you.
Okay, I definitely needed to hear that today. So thank you.
Yeah, for real. You have to have an intention, of course.
For sure.
And there's no direction without intention, but you can't then be obsessed with it. You have to have the intention and then just let it go and live your life.
Right. Okay. All right. So I know you're from Boston. Boston native. What was it like moving to Atlanta? And when did you move to Atlanta?
I moved to Atlanta almost last year. In a few days it'll be a year.
Okay.
So March. It was nice. It was a great experience. I visited once before, and that weekend told me everything I needed to know. The first night I went out, I was on Edgewood, and then I went to an after hours, and I knew nobody. So just having that experience, being invited to an after hours spot and seeing Atlanta at night like that was huge. And I felt very welcome in that moment. And then the next day I went to Piedmont Park and I walked the Beltline and I was like, oh man, that's a whole other side to Atlanta. I didn't even know was there. You know what I mean? Beautiful families in the parks, so many trees, so much nature, so much good energy. And I was like, yeah, I'm fucking gonna live here. I love it, So yeah, I kind of always knew in my heart I wanted to come here. And I knew that I wasn't gonna stay in Boston much longer. I love traveling. I had already left Boston at that point. So yeah, once I visited Atlanta, it just kind of reaffirmed all those thoughts that I had.
Okay, so I see you love Atlanta. Do you have any cons? No, it's only been a year.
I mean, nothing that no other city would have, you know what I mean? I think sometimes people get just a little too bogged down here, but that's about it.
What do you mean by that?
I think sometimes in Atlanta, I don't know, no, I actually really don't even know what I'm saying. Yeah, not really any crazy cons like that.
Okay. Okay. I was gonna ask because I know you said you had some dating goals, and people are always saying how Atlanta is not.
Oh, dating sucks here. There we go. That's the con.
That's the con. Okay, I hope you find it. So, why is it shitty? What's wrong with the dating?
I don't even think this is an Atlanta specific issue. I think this is our modern day issue.
Okay, that makes sense.
Especially with social media and everything. People are so concerned about what people have, how much money they have, how many followers they have,
or
what they're doing,
they have,
or what it looks like they have. Exactly. I think what they define their values on is just completely skewed. And I think that started with social media. So yeah, it could just be about what car you're driving and whatnot. And it's all right, cool. They're driving a Mercedes, but their house is a mess. You know what I mean? I just feel priorities are a little skewed. And that's almost everywhere right now. So yeah, I just wish people looked more into people's personality, the how much heart they have, how much presence they might have, you know, like these things that are really important that'll like stabilize a relationship versus
Right.
like, can you pay my electric bill? Pay your own fucking electric bill.
Yeah, I can't relate because I think with just men in general, like there's a lot expected of you. So.
Yeah, but I think it goes both ways too. Like, I think a lot of men care too much about like how bad the girl is. Like, of course, we all want a baddie.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, but like
It's important.
if that's the only thing she's bringing to the table, like, why are you even with her, bro?
Right.
You should want someone that like loves you and supports you, and, like, you know.
I think it's because a lot of men want submissiveness, so they really only care about that. But
yeah, I don't know. I'm not really into that. Like, I like partnerships.
Okay, so what do you look for in a woman?
In a woman, like, I look for like a partner. Like, you know, like someone that can match my energy, someone that likes the things that I like to do, like someone that can go with the flow too. You know, like I'm very much a spur of the moment kind of person sometimes. So, you know, if I'm like, hey, let's go for a walk in the park and like let's walk on the Beltline, like that might not seem like a date, but like if you do it, it's gonna turn into a date. I just I don't know where we might want to end up that day. You know what I mean? That kind of that kind of thing, and just like someone that's connected to themselves, like someone that knows themselves, someone that knows what they want, someone with ambition, like for themselves outside of me.
Yeah.
My ambition's outside of you.
Right.
Your ambition should be outside of me, and someone that's supposed to live a full, happy life, like, you know, just bring light to the world.
Okay, that makes sense. So you mentioned
And a fat ass.
I was not expecting that.
I had to do that for the joke, like.
Hey yo, I'm crying. Okay. So you mentioned someone who likes to do the same things you like to do. So outside of you as an artist, who are you like? What do you like to do for fun? Like.
Oh man, a lot of things. I love to travel. I think traveling is like one of the best things you can do in the world. Like, once you go to other countries, other cities, other cultures, you just see like how much there is outside of you. That's huge. Like someone that can, you know.
Passport. Okay.
Yeah, someone that likes to experience other cultures. Like, I'm not from Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta. I lived in Spain for a little bit. Like, I had never like really spent much time there before. Like, I was born in Saudi Arabia. Like, I like culture. Like, I like to see people outside of me and stuff. What was the question?
What do you like to? Who are you outside of an artist?
Oh yeah. I like to go on hikes. I like to watch good movies, good television, like real good shit.
What's good to you? Like, what's your favorite category?
I mean, my favorite category?
Yeah, you seem like the type, maybe sci-fi.
I do like sci-fi.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, like, I love Marvel movies for sure, but those are kind of ass right now. Just gonna, you know. No, but I like a good drama too. Like, I was just watching The Bear. I'm excited for them to stop season 3.
Okay.
Shit fire. Breaking Bad's like my favorite show of all time. I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. I like a good comedy. Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David. That's the guy right there. Outside of like, you know, television, I like reading sometimes. I like going out when it's the vibe. Like, you know, like if it's someone I can just like, I can go out with and just like, we can just be loose and like, we don't gotta worry about like what people think about us. We could just like, say what we want to fucking say.
Yeah.
Do what we want to do. Like, you know, certain people I go out with, I'm like, I feel tense. Like, I don't feel like, you know, like
that's
relaxed.
a sign.
You know what I mean?
You don't need to be hanging out with them.
Yeah, for real.
Let's talk about this album though.
Oh yeah.
Where it all begins.
Where it all begins.
Cut ties to the old me. Used to be lonely. They ain't even phone me. Those are lines from your track I have too.
Yeah. Opening ones.
Where were you when you wrote this song?
I was in Atlanta. I was in my bedroom when I wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of the album I wrote here. 3 songs I wrote in Nashville. 1 song I recorded in Boston. And I think the rest I wrote here.
Okay. I feel like that track definitely stood out to me. I feel like it was what was the most relatable to me. I remember there was another line, tired of my friends being whack. I feel like, what did you mean by that? Because I feel like I've had a lot of experiences with, I mean, everyone does, but just friends that don't last long.
Yeah. I'm the type of person that like I love to keep my friends around.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love to sustain a relationship over time.
Mm-hmm.
So I take pride in that.
Mm-hmm.
Once I started becoming a rapper, because I wasn't always a rapper growing up. Like I was kind of just like a regular guy kind of thing. Like went to college, wanted to, was getting a degree, like just gonna have like a job kind of person, So I grew up around like those type of people. But then I had an experience, did a 180 with my life, which is one of the lyrics that you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy shit, I want to make music. Like that's been calling to me, and I had no idea. Once I did that, I feel like a lot of people were just like, what is he doing? And like kind of rightfully so, because it came out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then I felt like if I never had like a real conversation with somebody about it, like if they never were like, hey, this came out of nowhere, man, like why are you doing this? Or like, what's your drive behind it? Or like, what's your goal with it? Or like anything like sort of real, like tangible conversation. I was kind of just like, are we friends? Like how are you gonna see me do this complete shift in my life, see me take it so seriously, see me sacrifice all these things and never sit down and be like, so tell me about it. You know what I mean?
I think for me,
That
like,
shit pissed me off.
when making friends, I like to really get to know them deeply, really spend a lot of time with them just
Mhm.
one-on-one, like, to build that friendship.
No, me too.
I think as an only child, being an only child, like, I felt, like, there's been a lot of times where I felt, like, lonely and misunderstood, and I could definitely feel that, those feelings, like, through the track. So how do you deal with those feelings of loneliness, feeling misunderstood?
Just continuing down the path. So like most days, I don't feel that way. Like as long as I'm doing what I need to do, I'm taking care of my body, I'm hitting the gym, I'm eating healthy, I'm working, I'm making music, I'm networking, shit like that. Like I feel great. Like I'm so cool with being like alone in those moments of weakness. That's when that shit like I'm like, like I'm living in the city. I've only been here a year. Like I met some good friends and whatnot, but like I've only been here a year, so like I don't have like like people like that. That's when it gets hard. That's when I like I phone a homie, or I take it easy that day, or like I just get right the fuck back on the horse, like one or the other. Once I get back into that energy, into like doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing and doing it to the max, like all that other shit disappears. But it's like every now and then it's like, damn, I wish I
feel
had
it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I
but
think it creeps up on you sometimes.
yeah, it'll just come out of nowhere. But then I'll just sit down and write a track about it, and I'll be like, cool, we're chilling. And it's not gonna be that way for much longer, I don't think. You know what I mean? I think that's just part of like a temporary sacrifice, and it's a challenge to really grow into yourself. Like, I found a lot of me during solitude.
Yeah.
And like,
for sure.
I never used to be like this person. I found this person by being alone.
I
So
love that.
sometimes I take it as a challenge.
Back to the album. What was your inspiration?
Like for the album in general?
Mm-hmm.
One of the first tracks I wrote was Where It All Begins. Ask about my origins, this is where it all begins. When I wrote that lyric, I was like, oh, that's what I want to make the album about. Like, where it all begins. And I was like, looking at my life, like, how I kind of like built the skills up to rap the way I do, to sing the way I do, because I used to suck at this shit. Like, I used to not be able to be on beat. I used to not be able to hit a note. Like,
oh wow.
my ex-girlfriends used to make fun of me for singing in the car type shit, So I was like looking at like all these skills that I was developing and all these sacrifices that I made and all these experiences that I had, and like I was like, I'm sure people out there can relate, or I'm sure people out there have a dream that they don't even know they can achieve because right now they're just not great at the thing they want to do. But I want to prove that like it doesn't matter. You can walk into the gym one day skinny as hell, go to the gym for 2 years straight, eat right, focus, or work out right, you're gonna look good, you know?
Yeah.
Do that for another 2 years, you might be ripped in this bitch, you know what I mean?
I feel it. I feel that way about DJing. Like, I just started probably, not even, probably, I would say a year and a half ago.
Oh, that's recent. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
so I, when I first started, I was just practicing every day. I didn't know what I was doing. And I feel like I wanted to do it for a long time, but I was afraid because I was like, I'm not a tech girl, like all these buttons, computers, like.
Oh, shit's so confusing at first, too.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
It is, but I think that like just practicing every day, multiple times a day, is really like it's just made a change.
Exactly,
So.
and then it starts becoming more natural. And then once it becomes natural, it's like you can do something you didn't even think you were capable of because it just like happens like that. You know? That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so as a creative, I know that social media can be overwhelming at times.
Sucks
and there's
sometimes.
the pressure to be posting every day and content creating, all that.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with the pressure of social media as a creative?
So that pressure was on since I started making music, which is like 4 years ago, right? And when I was first starting to make songs, I was like, bro, I'm barely even like putting a song together right now. Like the song is taking so much effort, or mixing it is taking so much effort. Like now I gotta worry about like content creation and making sure that like, so that did stress me out for a while. So I kind of just put it on the back burner. I was like, okay, you know what? If the music's not even that dope yet, like, don't even waste your time making content around it. Like, just focus on making great music first. So I spent 2 years making the album Where It All Begins, and like, because I had to learn how to audio engineer. So I did all that on the album. I did the masters and the vocal mixes. I had to learn how to record myself. I set up a studio in my bedroom. Like, I had to learn all these like fundamental things. So I was like, let me just focus on that, put the album together, release it, put some time in between when it's done, when I'm gonna release it, and that's when I'm gonna focus on content creation, which is like right now. So now I'm like, all right, the album is out. What's up? The album is out. Like, I got a little better with video editing. I've gotten better with networking and stuff. So like, now's the time to do that. And I'm gonna still make songs. I'm gonna still practice my singing. Like, I'm gonna still do all that because that's what I care to do. But now it's like my mind has so much more free space for the content stuff that I'm like, all right, let me do this and have the presence of mind to enjoy it rather than feel like it's a chore. And that was like kind of fun. Like, I'm an Uber driver. I have like a dash cam set up. I've been doing like dash cam videos, and that's been like cool, you know. Shot a music video, so I mean that's easier because someone's shooting it, and I just get to like do the acting and think of ideas and whatnot. But yeah, so it's just about being free in that space, you know. Okay.
So I know you said that you weren't always a rapper. So you're kind of fresh. So, what are some of your first memories of music, like growing up? Like, what artists did you listen to? What artists did you look up to? Because I know also you said you're from Saudi Arabia. So do you have any influence from your culture, like your background?
Not much influence from Saudi Arabia. Just, you know, my parents play Arabic music sometimes, and it's nice. And my sister listens to it. And when I go visit, like, I get that connection there. But I haven't yet seen that develop in my music. Maybe one day it will. Hopefully. I do want to live there actually for a little bit at one point. For at least a year, so I can just like fully assimilate into my culture, because I'm still connected with the culture and whatnot, but there's a deeper connection that can still be established, and I want to do that. In terms of earliest memories of music, Chris Brown's self-titled CD was like the first CD I ever owned, maybe second.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I loved that CD. Like, Chris Brown's a whole different subject, but that project was like huge for me. That was like a huge intro into R&B. And from that moment on, then I just got deeper into R&B and then deeper into hip hop. Like, once I discovered J. Cole, I got like much more into rap and stuff. And I remember like one of my neighbors, he put me on to Tupac, and we were like 9 years old, 10 years old or something, and we were just like looking up like Tupac videos on YouTube, like, yo, this motherfucker hard, like, like having no idea, like, you know, what it really entails, but something about his message resonated with us at a young age, and yeah, so from there I just became a huge fan of music, and then once I started baking it, I started diving deeper into being a fan, because just some things clicked for me as a creator that didn't as just a fan.
Right.
And then yeah, so it just kind of been like my appreciation for it just started growing more and more. You know, it's been cool.
Okay, so I just want to say congrats on the new release of your
Appreciate
album.
it. Thank you.
Yes, and what else can we expect from you like coming up?
Ooh, okay, so much more Where It All Begins promo. Like, I'm very proud of that project, so I'm gonna keep pushing it because I do believe that there's at least 2 songs on there that can be like a hit or get my career kick-started at the very least. I believe in more than that, but like at the very least. So I'm gonna keep promoting that. And now I'm just working on some new tracks, and I'm trying to get to the stage, or I'm at the stage now where I'm gonna be really focused on live performances. So now I'm gonna start hitting up the open mics, hopefully making more connections so I can have like a performance for me, maybe attract some people. I don't care if it's 10 people, hopefully it's like 100 or whatever. Like, I just want to get on stage and like let loose kind of thing. So that's what I'm focused on at the moment, but also just getting better because my singing's improved a lot, so I'm gonna start doing a little more singing. Like I did a little bit on the album, but I want to start making like full-blown R&B tracks because I love hip-hop. Like, this is no shade to hip-hop, but like R&B is just like right there for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it speaks to me just a little more sometimes.
Yeah, I can definitely hear a lot of R&B influence in your music. It's very like soul, like neo soul, soulful. So
appreciate that.
Yeah, but thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
it was
no
a
problem.
pleasure
Thanks
getting
for having
to know
me.
you more.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can come back and like.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'd like to ask you more questions actually,
Sure.
because you know, I feel like you got an interesting story.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought you meant right now. No.
Oh, I mean, yeah. If we got time for it now, sure. But like, I meant.
What did you want to know?
Why'd you start DJing?
I've been like, okay, so I started out as a music artist. I have music out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
you didn't say that when we met.
I still don't know that. I made music from like 2018 to 2021, and I took a break because I wanted to start DJing, and I wanted to focus more on that. But DJing is something I've wanted to do like forever. Music has always been a part of me. Like I've grown up, like my grandparents were jazz musicians.
Oh, word.
Yeah, so music's in my blood, and I just decided to buy the board, and I let it sit in the corner for like 6 months, and then I was like, okay, let me just try it and see.
I feel that.
And within the next few months, I had my first gig, and now I'm here.
Nice.
People know me as a DJ now. It's kind of crazy.
That's fucking awesome. Who are some of your influences?
Like music artists? Influences. I would say Erykah Badu.
Oh, I love her. She's fantastic.
I would say Music Soul Child. And
love him too.
D'Angelo. I have a lot of. I'm mostly influenced by neo soul.
I can tell. Yeah.
So.
I love D'Angelo. I love all those artists that you just listed. Like, a lot of their songs are in a couple of my playlists. Yeah. Brown Sugar, classic album.
Do you have Apple Music? I can share with you some of my playlists.
Oh, I would love that. I can do the same back.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Well, you heard it here at True Colors. We out.
Thanks for having me. True Colors.